It's day 14. Alright, I'm shooting for about 500. If you damage your plants right now in the root system, it will show as a deficiency initially, and you'll think that you're deficient in something. You'll just think you're deficient. The reality is you went too toxic and you jacked up your plants from the base, from the ground up. But most growers, they don't realize that. So until it's too late, the leading cause of that is fertilizers or giving them specific additives in specific times that they don't need it. Okay, there are tips and tricks with additives, but the trick is knowing when to do it and how much to do it. I'm going to run silicates all the way up to about day 21. I typically drop it about week 3. There are some cases I'll run it to week 4, but it all just depends on the plants. It's not really about me and a calendar. I'm going to preach that until the end of this video series, that you guys need to get that stuff out of your heads. I know people go into hydro shop and it's like, what are you doing on this day, at this day, at this day? No, it's more about the growth phases of the plants and how the plants are developing through those growth stages. So if you've done something to mess them up and they've halted their growth, you don't be doing certain things at certain dates because it's no longer relevant to you. So these are things you need to pay attention to. Hope that makes sense. What's my favorite additive? Is a silicate. Potassium silicate. Get my $1 million grow wand. You know, I think I found it in my backyard. Everything serves a purpose. Oh, I know why the pH isn't changing. I'm an idiot. You'll make this mistake, guys, but at least we got our red juice in there. And there we go. So that's our pH. Like I said, I was shooting slightly over 6. And guess what? It's not rocket science. My meter wasn't even working, and I knew I was going to be at exactly slightly above 6. Use your meters as a tool to get good. Don't rely on them. I play guitar. I've been playing guitar for many years, and at one point I was relying on a tuner to tune my guitar for, oh gosh, this went on for a decade. And eventually I said, you know what, I have to be able to tune by ear, like these specific, if I want to change the key that I'm playing in, I have to be able to switch up this by ear. And at that point I realized I needed to use the tuner, but I needed to teach myself how to do it by ear. And I used the tuner as a tool to do that instead of just aimlessly relying on the tuner to tune for me all the dang time. It's not to say that you can't have a tuner up on stage and use it as a foot pedal. You know, double check your notes, make sure they're right where they should be. But it's a good tool to have. Another analogy is a calculator. Come on, guys. You guys should know your multiplications by now. You know what I'm saying? These things are very important. Like I said, you can use your meter as a tool, like we use a calculator as a tool, but you shouldn't jump to a calculator every single time to do some simple equation in your head, simple math problem. I try to teach my kids that. When I go to the store, I'm like, yo, okay, if X amount of money is being spent and we're putting $100 in there, what's the change? And I always try and teach my kids that. What's the change? What are you going to get back? And they're like doing it in their head while we're standing in line, and we're not leaving until they get it right. That's the kind of parent I am. Let's water these bad boys. Don't be a baby. Get your hands dirty. Tilling. You're basically tilling the soil, which is a good thing. Don't till it so much where you're kicking all this dust up in your face. Just move things around. Right here, it's like really dense. There's going to be places that are dense, and you know that's roots. Right there, you can see that's a root ball. Right, you got roots all the way to the top of the soil, which is good. The roots are seeking, and that's what you want. You want them to seek. Everything is about your roots when it comes to a healthy plant. You burn your plants with fertilizers, you add things at the wrong stages of their life, you're gonna mess your plants up. Especially if you go by the directions on the bottle. Stop following the directions on those damn bottles. That is the reason a lot of people fail. Following that one's kind of hard to get. I'll have to get that here in a minute. You're following the directions on those bottles, and the bottles is not even a rule of thumb. It's not even close to being a rule of thumb. I would say most bottles put you about 4 or 5 times over the dosage. They don't care if you fail or not. They're not here to teach you how to grow. That's not what a nutrient company is there for. I don't know where they get these. I don't know where they come up with these directions either. An assumption that the nutrients on the bottle is to be fed outdoor plants maybe once a week. And that's it. I'm assuming that's where they come up with that formula for dosing on the back of those bottles. But if you're an indoor grower, you know, it's different. The directions don't say, hey, for indoor growers do this, you know, if you're using LEDs or HIDs, and for outdoor growers do this. They only give you one set of very basic guidelines. But those guidelines are basically meant for outdoor once a week. And for that one back there, I'm just going to open up the side of the tent and reach through. Oh, this one's completely dry. Oh my gosh. All right. Man, I love these Spider Farmer tents. Let's get to this watering. I'll speed this up for you guys. Trying to keep this whole process simplified for everybody. It doesn't take a lot to do this. It does take a lot of patience. If you don't have patience, the results that you're expecting are not going to happen. You're going to be disappointed. So I suggest that you learn to grow some patience if you expect anything decent out of this in the end. Get some Silk Kit in there. So we'll be running Silk Kit all the way up to day 21. There we go. That's where we want to be. Let's give them some more water. Basically, I'm waiting for them to fully absorb, and for the medium to be fully hydrated. At which point they're going to start releasing some of that water, like you already see here in the bottom. Once they do that, I'll come back in with a shop vac and suck it up. But in the meantime, woo! Day 14, guys. Running the Spider Farmer SE7000 700 watt light fixture. From head to toe, we're decked out with all Spider Farmer gear. Spider Farmer tent, Spider Farmer SE7000 grow light, the fabric pots, the ventilation equipment, the carbon scrubber, and also the computer control module right here. We're back on point and close to it. We're not ideal, but when this tent is actually closed, it goes up to about 80 degrees. That's been, you know, the average. And let's check this out. So we're running 60%. Let me bump that up. 70%. Dead nuts, 70%. Their next growth phase is just going to be a bulking stage. they're just going to put more of their energy and more of the plant's focus on flowering, and that is just the overall diameter and girth. They're just going to start, just these little buds are just going to turn into monsters, and that's basically what's going to happen. They're going to be focusing on this lateral circumference of the flower. That kind of growth is going to be taking place. It's an absolute gorgeous canopy. Everything's looking fantastic. You know, we got real estate. You know, the grid over here is full. There's not much more I could do. I could move a couple things around, and I will. You know, you want to try and even things out. You don't want a cluster of buds just to be, you know, harboring and just growing in one square. You want to kind of separate. This is your time to actually go through the canopy and manage your canopy appropriately. These ones over here, they're going to get too tall, and that's okay. I'll come back in on day 21, and I will manhandle those things, and I'll show them who's boss, and I'll kind of go through that with you when that time, you know, when that time comes. This is, let me see, when the last time I was in here was day 10. Here's day 10. And now we're just here at day 14. So you get what I'm saying. When you are at this point of the grow, when you're at this point of the grow, it's basically like set it and forget it. You're done. Most of your work is done. The only thing that you have to do from here on out for the rest of the grow, don't mess it up. Okay? That's it. Very simple. Don't mess it up. If right now, hypothetically speaking, this is your canopy, and you say, look, man, it looks great, and then you bumped it up 10% like we did this today, and then you come back in 3 days to water, 3 or 4 days to water, and then all of a sudden you see the leaves all like cowering, boop, they're all sad, they don't like it, they just look stressed out. It's the par. It is absolutely the par of these lights. These lights are insane. An SE7000 on a light rail can light up an 8-foot area easily, okay, if it's set up properly. I pulled, what was it, 4 3/4 pounds with one of these lights stationary in the last grow. There's a lot of improvements in technology that will be taking place over the next few years in LEDs. We're not finished. And I absolutely have some really, really fantastic ideas, I think, that are worth improving on in fixtures in the future. When it comes to the technology of the diodes, that's completely on them. You know, I don't have control of that, but I can give them suggestions based on the kind of growth that I'm receiving with the fixture. So this is all good. This is all good research material, and that's what I'm doing right here. Hi, grow. Much love. That's all I got. Stay blessed. Peace. Woo!